Procrastination is more than a bad habit. It's a silent thief that robs you of the life you were meant to live. We've all felt its grip, that quiet voice saying, "Not now. Maybe later," while your dreams stand there, dying in the background. Napoleon Hill didn't tolerate that weakness. Through Think and Grow Rich, after studying over 500 of history's most successful people, he revealed the raw truth. Success doesn't wait for you to be ready. It rewards those who move, even when everything inside them says wait. Let that sink in. How many powerful ideas have you buried under layers of fear, doubt, and overthinking? Hill called it what it is: paralysis of negative thought patterns, a slow death of potential, suffered by those who never act. You know the type. The person who talks endlessly about starting a business, writing a book, changing careers, but never takes the first bold step. They're trapped, not by lack of ability, but by an illusion, the lie that someday will be safer, easier, better. But Hill knew, and Carnegie taught him, that success belongs to those who begin, ready or not, and refine as they go. There is no perfect moment, only now. And the longer you wait, the louder your excuses become and the weaker your will gets. In this no-nonsense journey through Hill's wisdom, we're not here to be inspired. We're here to be ignited. We're here to crush delay, break the cycle, and step into bold, decisive action that reshapes the future starting today. So, why do we struggle to take that first step? Often, it's because we're waiting for motivation to strike, believing it must come before action. But Hill turned this on its head. He taught that motivation is actually a result of action, not the cause, as he experienced in his own early struggles with poverty. Hill once faced immense uncertainty, yet he committed to a 20-year research project on success, proving that waiting for the right feeling only leads to missed opportunities. How many chances have you let pass by, holding out for inspiration that never arrives? Another barrier is the failure to decide. Hill emphasized that vague goals lead to vague results, as seen in his interviews with figures like Henry Ford. Indecision costs us dearly: wasted time, lost chances, and a growing sense of regret that builds like a shadow over our ambitions. Reflect on a decision you've been postponing. Hill would remind you that it's not the choice that fails, but the absence of one. Then there's fear and uncertainty, those invisible chains that Hill identified as mental barriers through his concept of autosuggestion. Hill himself endured ridicule and doubt but persisted, teaching us that fear is just a thought we can reprogram. As he wrote, every adversity carries with it the seed of an equivalent advantage, but only if we act despite the terror. Modern examples abound, like athletes who step onto the stage despite stage fright, turning anxiety into triumph through sheer willpower. Now that we've uncovered these barriers, let's dive into Hill's solution: the power of immediate action. Taking action, even if it's imperfect, ignites a spark that builds momentum, just as Hill observed in the lives of self-made millionaires like Thomas Edison. Edison didn't wait for perfection. He persisted through thousands of failures, each step creating a domino effect of progress. Hill advised using definite plans. Write down your first action today and commit to it, no matter how small. Imagine that first step leading to another and another, forming a positive feedback loop that propels you forward. To strengthen decisiveness, embrace Hill's mastermind principle. Collaborate with others to gain clarity and turn vague ideas into concrete decisions. Hill built his success through daily decision-making exercises. Try this yourself. List 3 decisions you've avoided and act on one within 24 hours. It's that simple act, like Hill starting his journey with just a notebook and determination that breaks the cycle of procrastination. But how do you handle the fear that often accompanies that first step? Hill's technique of positive autosuggestion helps. Reframe negative thoughts by visualizing success, as he did to overcome his own fears. Take Edwin C. Barnes, whom Hill profiled. He faced rejection from Thomas Edison but acted anyway, turning doubt into a life-changing partnership. Remember, failure isn't the end. As Hill taught, every failure brings with it the seed of an equivalent success, if we learn from it. When fear creeps in, ask yourself, what would Hill do? Then take a small action to test the waters and watch your confidence grow. With fear managed, the real work begins, building self-discipline, which Hill saw as the backbone of sustained success. Discipline isn't about fleeting motivation. It's about persistent effort, as Hill practiced in his daily routines to rise above challenges. Hill rose early each day to review his goals, building resilience through habits that turn dreams into reality. Try it yourself. Contrast the temporary high of motivation with the steady power of discipline, like committing to a 30-day challenge of journaling your goals. Positive habits, such as waking up early or completing tasks without delay, align with Hill's principle of forming definite habits for long-term progress. Start small. Choose one habit today, nurture it daily, and feel the transformation as it becomes second nature. Once discipline is in place, create a clear vision and goals to fuel your actions, drawing from Hill's emphasis on definite purpose. Clear goals provide direction and ignite inner drive, as Hill advised in his own path to achievement. Write down a specific goal, break it into actionable steps, and review it daily to keep your focus sharp and your energy high. Without this, as Hill warned, a goal is just a wish. Make it real by outlining one right now and mapping your path forward. To bring this all to life, let's look at a real-life example from Hill's world. Andrew Carnegie, who embodied these principles. Carnegie started with nothing but a vision for steel mills, facing immense obstacles yet acting decisively to build an empire. Through persistent effort and a mastermind alliance, he turned setbacks into stepping stones, illustrating how Hill's advice creates unstoppable momentum. His story stirs the soul, doesn't it? A reminder that ordinary people can achieve extraordinary things through bold action. As we wrap this up, remember Hill's core message: motivation follows action, not the other way around. The real secret to success lies in that first, decisive step, as Hill proved time and again in his timeless teachings. Don't let another day slip by. Choose one action from what we've covered and do it now, whether it's writing your goal or making that call. As Hill so wisely said, the starting point of all achievement is desire, but the finishing point is action. Embrace this truth, and watch your life unfold with the success you've always envisioned. You're capable of more than you know. Take that step today, and let Hill's wisdom guide you to greatness. Start now, and may your journey be filled with the triumphs that come from turning thoughts into reality. Welcome, everyone, to this exploration of the real secret to success with Napoleon Hill's timeless advice. As Napoleon Hill once said, procrastination is the bad habit of putting off until the day after tomorrow what should have been done yesterday. That quote hits hard because we've all felt that pull of delay in our lives. Think about it. You know what you want, whether it's a thriving career, financial independence, or personal fulfillment, but something keeps you stuck. Hill, through his groundbreaking book Think and Grow Rich, interviewed over 500 successful individuals and uncovered a simple truth. Success isn't about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about action. Many people fall into the trap of negative thought patterns, where fear and doubt turn ideas into nothing more than distant dreams. For instance, imagine a talented professional who dreams of a promotion but spends months just researching instead of applying, or an aspiring entrepreneur with a brilliant idea, yet they keep waiting for that elusive, perfect time. Hill called this inaction a thief of potential, and he learned from figures like Andrew Carnegie that preparation is important, but action is what turns thoughts into reality. As he put it, thoughts are things, but only when translated into action do they produce results. The myth of perfect readiness holds us back, but Hill's advice shows us that starting imperfectly is the key to progress. Today, we're diving into Hill's principles to break free from hesitation and build the discipline for lasting success. So, let's get started by examining why you might not be taking action right now. One major reason is waiting for motivation to strike. But Hill flipped that script. He believed motivation is a result of action, not the cause. In his own life, Hill faced poverty and uncertainty, yet he didn't wait. He acted on Carnegie's challenge, committing to a 20-year research project despite feeling unprepared. How many opportunities have you missed by holding out for the right feeling? This mindset leads to endless delays, trapping you in a cycle that Hill called self-imposed limitation. Another barrier is the failure to decide, which Hill identified as a critical flaw in achieving success. He emphasized that definite decisions are the foundation of progress, as vague goals lead to vague outcomes. Take Henry Ford, one of the people Hill studied. Ford made bold decisions that revolutionized the auto industry, turning his vision into reality. The cost of indecision is high. It wastes time, drains energy, and lets chances slip away. Reflect on this. What's one decision you've been postponing that could change your path? Hill would say that without a firm choice, you're destined to stay stagnant. Then there's fear and uncertainty, which Hill tackled head-on with his concept of autosuggestion. Fear of failure can paralyze even the most capable minds, as it did for Hill when he faced ridicule early in his career. But he persisted, teaching that fear is just a mental barrier we can reprogram. As he wrote, every adversity carries with it the seed of an equivalent advantage, but only if you push through the doubt. Modern examples abound, like athletes who step onto the field despite nerves, turning anxiety into achievement. Now that we've uncovered these barriers, let's shift to Hill's solution: the power of immediate action. Action is where real change begins, as Hill proved through stories of self-made millionaires who started with small, imperfect steps. Think of Thomas Edison, whom Hill profiled. Edison didn't wait for inspiration. He acted, failing thousands of times before succeeding. This creates a domino effect. One step leads to another, building momentum and genuine motivation. Hill advised using definite plans. Write down your first action and commit to it today, no matter how small. For example, if your goal is career growth, don't just dream. Send that email or make that call right now. Strengthening decisiveness is next, drawing from Hill's mastermind principle of collaborating with others for clarity. He built his own success by surrounding himself with mentors, turning indecision into confident choices. Try this exercise. List 3 decisions you've been avoiding, then pick one and act on it within 24 hours, just as Hill did. Remember, as Hill said, the way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. Now, let's practice taking that first step, which Hill saw as the enemy of procrastination. If you're aiming to start a business, don't delay. Research one potential contact today and reach out. Hill himself began his journey with nothing more than a notebook and a decision, proving that action breeds opportunity. But how do you handle the fear that often accompanies that first step? Hill's answer is to face fear head-on, using positive auto-suggestion to reframe your thoughts. He visualized success to overcome his own doubts, turning mental blocks into stepping stones. Take Edwin C. Barnes, another of Hill's examples. Barnes acted on his desire to partner with Edison, despite repeated rejections, and eventually succeeded. Immediate action dissolves fear, because it shifts your focus from what could go wrong to what might go right. When setbacks occur, view them as lessons, as Hill taught. Every failure brings with it the seed of an equivalent success. So, the next time fear arises, ask yourself, what would Hill do? Then take a small action to test the waters. With fear managed, it's time to build the self-discipline that Hill deemed essential for sustained success. Discipline isn't about fleeting motivation. It's about persistent effort, as Hill demonstrated in his daily routines. He rose early, reviewed his goals, and stuck to his plans, even when it was tough. That's the key to resilience. Contrast that with emotional highs that fade. Disciplined habits keep you moving forward. Start with one positive habit, like journaling your goals each morning, as Hill did to maintain focus. Try a 30-day challenge, commit to a small daily action, and watch how it transforms your mindset. Finally, create a clear vision and goals to fuel your efforts, tying back to Hill's definite purpose. Clear goals provide direction and energy, turning wishes into achievable plans. Write down a specific goal today, break it into steps, and review it daily. Remember, as Hill said, a goal without a plan is just a wish. As Napoleon Hill once said, procrastination is the bad habit of putting off until the day after tomorrow what should have been done yesterday. This timeless wisdom from his book Think and Grow Rich cuts straight to the heart of why so many dreams remain unfulfilled. Today, we're diving into Hill's principles, drawn from his interviews with over 500 successful individuals, to reveal the real secret to success. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment or endless planning. It's about action. Many people feel stuck in a cycle of hesitation, knowing what they want but never taking the first step. Hill called this inaction due to negative thought patterns, where fear and doubt hold you back from turning ideas into reality. Think about that professional who's always dreaming of a promotion but spends months just researching instead of applying. Or the entrepreneur with a brilliant idea, waiting for the right time that never comes. Hill taught that perfect preparation is a myth. Success starts with imperfect action, just as he learned from Andrew Carnegie. In this journey, we'll uncover how to break free from these barriers and build the discipline for lasting achievement. Now, let's explore why you might not be taking action, starting with the common trap of waiting for motivation. Hill argued that motivation isn't something you wait for, it's a result of action, not the cause. He knew this from his own life, overcoming poverty by committing to a 20-year research project despite feeling unprepared. How many opportunities have you missed by holding out for that elusive right feeling? It's a cycle that leads to regret, as Hill observed in the lives of those who never started. Another barrier is the failure to decide, which Hill identified as a major roadblock to success. He emphasized definite decisions as essential, noting that vague goals yield vague results, just like in his interviews with Henry Ford. Indecision costs you time, energy, and chances. Think of that project you've been postponing for weeks. Hill would say it's not the decision that fails, but the lack of one that keeps you stagnant. Fear and uncertainty often amplify this, turning small doubts into paralyzing obstacles. Hill's concept of auto-suggestion shows how you can reprogram your mind to overcome these fears, as he did when facing ridicule early in his career. As he wrote, every adversity carries with it the seed of an equivalent advantage, but only if you act despite the fear. Modern examples, like athletes pushing through stage fright, prove this principle still holds true today. With these barriers in mind, it's time to shift to Hill's solution, taking immediate action. The power of action lies in its ability to build momentum, even if it's imperfect, as Hill showcased in stories of self-made millionaires like Thomas Edison. Edison's persistence turned failures into breakthroughs, illustrating the domino effect, where one step leads to another. Hill advised creating definite plans. Write down your first action and commit to it today, no matter how small. Strengthening decisiveness is key, drawing from Hill's mastermind principle of collaborating with others for clarity. Adopt his habit of daily decision-making exercises to turn hesitation into habit. For instance, list 3 decisions you've been avoiding, then pick one and act on it within 24 hours, just as Hill did to launch his own success. Practicing the first step is where real change begins, echoing Hill's warning that procrastination is the enemy of progress. If your goal is to start a business, don't wait. Make that first contact today, as Hill began his journey with just a notebook and resolve. But how do you handle the fear that often accompanies that initial move? Hill's technique of positive autosuggestion helps you face fear head-on by reframing negative thoughts into empowering ones. He overcame his own doubts by visualizing success, and you can too. Take the story of Edwin C. Barnes, whom Hill profiled despite initial rejection from Thomas Edison. Barnes acted anyway and turned doubt into a partnership. Learning from failure is another crucial part, as Hill taught that every failure brings with it the seed of an equivalent success. View setbacks as lessons, not endpoints, and keep moving forward. When fear arises, ask yourself, what would Hill do? Then take a small action to test the waters and build confidence. With fear managed, the focus shifts to building self-discipline, which Hill saw as the backbone of sustained success. Discipline isn't about fleeting motivation. It's about persistent effort, as Hill practiced in his daily routines. He rose early and reviewed his goals every day. Try this yourself to foster resilience and consistency. Contrast this with relying on emotions, which fade, while disciplined habits endure. To practice positive habits, start small, like waking up early or completing tasks promptly, tying into Hill's advice on forming definite habits. I recommend a 30-day challenge. Begin with one habit, such as journaling your goals, to maintain focus as Hill did. Once discipline is in place, create a clear vision and goals to fuel your actions. Hill's definite purpose concept shows why specific goals provide direction and drive. Without them, you're just wishing. With them, you're building a roadmap to success. Write down a specific goal, break it into actionable steps, and review it daily, just as Hill advised for his own achievements. Make it interactive. Pause now and outline one goal for yourself. Remember, as Hill said, a goal without a plan is just a wish. So pair it with immediate steps. To make this real, let's look at a role model from Hill's life, like Andrew Carnegie. Carnegie turned a simple steel mill idea into an empire through decisive action, despite numerous obstacles, embodying Hill's principles. His story shows how acting on a definite purpose, even in tough times, leads to extraordinary results. In wrapping up, remember Hill's core message. Motivation follows action, not the other way around. Your real secret to success lies in that first, decisive step, as proven by Hill's timeless advice. Don't wait. Choose one action from today and do it now. As Hill declared, the starting point of all achievement is desire, but the finishing point is action. Let's dive deeper into why so many people struggle with taking action. Just as Napoleon Hill observed in his interviews with over 500 successful individuals, Hill often pointed out that waiting for the perfect moment is a trap that keeps dreams buried under layers of excuses. Think about it. How many times have you delayed a project because you felt unprepared, only to watch opportunities slip away? As Hill wrote in Think and Grow Rich, procrastination is the assassin of opportunity, and it's fueled by the illusion that motivation will magically appear. In Hill's own life, he faced this barrier when he hesitated to approach Andrew Carnegie, but he realized that action, not waiting, was the key to unlocking doors. Now, let's break down the first major barrier, the false hope that motivation must come first. Hill taught that motivation is actually a byproduct of movement. It's like trying to warm up by staying still in the cold. He shared stories of self-made millionaires who started with nothing but a decision, proving that action ignites the fire within. For instance, Henry Ford didn't wait for inspiration. He acted on his vision of affordable cars, turning failures into stepping stones. If you're guilty of this, ask yourself, what goal have I been postponing? And what would Hill say about my excuses? Remember, as Hill emphasized, the world has a way of making room for the man who knows where he is going. Moving on, indecision is another thief of progress, and Hill called it the enemy of definite purpose. Without a clear decision, your goals remain vague dreams, like a ship without a rudder in a stormy sea. Hill learned this from his studies. Figures like Thomas Edison made firm choices, even when the path was uncertain. Edison didn't debate forever. He decided to invent the light bulb and persisted through thousands of failures. In your life, that might mean choosing to apply for that job today instead of researching for another month. Hill would challenge you. What decision have you been avoiding? And how is it holding you back from your potential? The cost of indecision is high. It wastes time and erodes confidence, as Hill noted in his principle of definite decisions. To overcome this, start small. Make one clear choice right now, and watch how it builds your resolve. Fear and uncertainty round out the big barriers, and Hill addressed them head-on with his concept of auto-suggestion. Fear isn't real. It's a mental creation, as Hill explained, and it only grows when you feed it with inaction. Hill himself battled fear when he embarked on his 20-year research, facing skepticism from others, but he used positive self-talk to push forward. Modern examples abound. Athletes like Serena Williams face nerves before matches, but step onto the court anyway, turning fear into fuel. As Hill put it, every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. So, when doubt creeps in, don't let it paralyze you. Take a step, no matter how small, and fear will start to fade. Now, shifting to the solution, Hill's advice is clear. The power of immediate action is your greatest weapon against hesitation. Action creates momentum, like a snowball rolling downhill, gathering size and speed as it goes. Hill profiled individuals like Edwin C. Barnes, who acted on his desire to partner with Edison, despite initial rejection, and eventually succeeded. Start today with a definite plan. Write down one actionable step, as Hill recommended, and commit to it without delay. Remember, perfection is the enemy. Hill taught that imperfect action beats perfect inaction every time. To strengthen your decisiveness, embrace Hill's mastermind principle. Surround yourself with like-minded people who can help clarify your path. In Hill's words, no one can succeed alone. A mastermind alliance provides the ideas and encouragement you need. Try this exercise. Reach out to a friend or colleague today and share your goal. It's the first step toward building that alliance. Once you've decided, practice taking that first step. It's the bridge from dreaming to doing. For example, if your aim is to start a business, don't wait. Make one phone call or send one email right now. Hill started his journey with just a notebook and a decision, proving that one step can change everything. Overcoming hesitation and fear is next, and Hill's technique of positive auto-suggestion is your tool. By repeating affirmations and visualizing success, you rewire your mind, just as Hill did to conquer his own doubts. Take Hill's story of persistence. He visualized interviewing the greats, and that mental practice turned into real action. When fear arises, face it head-on. As Hill advised, do the thing you fear, and the death of fear is certain. Learning from failure is part of this process. Hill saw every setback as a lesson, not a dead end. In your own life, view a missed opportunity as a teacher, guiding you toward a better path. Building self-discipline is essential, as Hill believed it was the foundation of all achievement. Discipline isn't about waiting for motivation. It's about creating habits that Hill called persistent effort. Hill maintained a daily routine of goal review, which kept him focused amid challenges. Try adopting something similar. Start with small habits, like waking up early or journaling your progress, to build the discipline Hill championed. Over time, these habits compound, turning you into the person who naturally takes action. Now, create a clear vision and goals, as Hill's definite purpose is the fuel for your journey. Without specific goals, you're wandering aimlessly. Hill urged writing them down and breaking them into steps. Take a moment now to outline one goal. Make it measurable, set a deadline, and plan your first action, just as Hill did for his own success. Finally, remember Hill's real-life example, like Andrew Carnegie, who turned a simple idea into an empire through decisive action and unyielding discipline. Have you ever felt stuck, knowing exactly what you need to do but finding yourself paralyzed by doubt? That's the trap Napoleon Hill warned us about in his groundbreaking book, Think and Grow Rich. As Hill once said, procrastination is the bad habit of putting off until the day after tomorrow what should have been done yesterday. Let that sink in for a moment. It's a stark reminder that success doesn't wait for the perfect moment. Many people dream of financial freedom, career breakthroughs, or personal growth, yet they remain trapped in a cycle of delay. Hill identified this as inaction due to negative thought patterns, where fear and doubt turn bright ideas into forgotten wishes. Think about it. How often have you researched a promotion endlessly without ever applying? Or held onto a business idea, waiting for that elusive, perfect time that never arrives? Hill's wisdom, drawn from interviews with over 500 successful individuals, reveals that real success stems from action, not just intention. He learned this from Andrew Carnegie, who emphasized that thoughts are powerful, but only when they're translated into decisive steps. The truth is, perfect preparation is a myth. Success begins with starting, even if it's imperfect. In this journey through Hill's timeless advice, we'll break free from hesitation and build the discipline for lasting achievement. Now, let's explore why so many struggle to take that first step. One major barrier is waiting for motivation to strike, but as Hill taught, Motivation is the result of action, not its prerequisite. He knew this from his own life, overcoming poverty by committing to a 20-year research project despite feeling unprepared. How many opportunities have you missed by chasing that right feeling instead of just beginning? This mindset leads to endless waiting, stalling your progress before it even starts. Another issue is the failure to make definite decisions, which Hill called a cornerstone of success. In his studies of figures like Henry Ford, Hill saw that vague goals yield vague results, while clear decisions drive forward momentum. Consider the cost: wasted time, missed chances, and growing regret from choices left unmade. Reflect on a decision you've been postponing. Hill would argue it's not the decision that fails, but the absence of one. Then there's fear and uncertainty, which Hill described as mental barriers amplified by negative autosuggestion. He faced ridicule himself but persisted, proving that fear is conquerable through action. As Hill wrote, every adversity carries with it the seed of an equivalent advantage, but only if you move forward despite the doubt. Modern examples abound, like athletes who step onto the field amid nerves and turn anxiety into triumph. With these barriers in mind, it's time to shift to Hill's solution: the power of immediate action. Taking action, even if imperfect, ignites a chain reaction that builds momentum and real motivation. Hill profiled self-made millionaires like Thomas Edison, who succeeded through persistent small steps rather than grand leaps. Imagine the domino effect. One action leads to another, creating a positive feedback loop that propels you toward your goals. Hill advised using definite plans, so start by writing down your first action and committing to it today. To strengthen your decisiveness, embrace Hill's mastermind principle by collaborating with others for clarity and support. Make it a habit. List 3 decisions you've been avoiding, then pick one and act on it within 24 hours, just as Hill did. Remember, procrastination is the enemy of progress, and every successful person Hill studied began with that initial push. For instance, if your goal is to launch a business, don't wait. Reach out to one potential contact right now. Hill himself started with nothing more than a notebook and a firm decision, and look where it took him. But what about the fear that often accompanies that first step? Hill's technique of positive autosuggestion helps you face fear head-on by reprogramming your mind for success. He visualized his achievements daily, turning doubt into determination, as seen in the story of Edwin C. Barnes. Barnes partnered with Edison despite repeated rejections, and his persistent action transformed failure into opportunity. Learning from failure is key. Hill taught that every setback carries the seed of equivalent success if you keep going. When fear arises, ask yourself, what would Hill do? Then take a small action to test the waters and build confidence. With fear managed, the focus shifts to building self-discipline, which Hill saw as the true engine of progress. Discipline isn't about fleeting emotion. It's about persistent effort, as Hill practiced in his daily routines. He rose early each day to review his goals, creating habits that turn dreams into reality. Contrast this with motivation, which comes and goes. True success relies on disciplined actions you repeat regardless. Start small. Try Hill's approach by journaling your goals every morning to build resilience over time. For a practical boost, commit to a 30-day challenge, like completing one task daily, to form those definite habits. Once discipline is in place, create a clear vision and goals to fuel your ongoing motivation. Hill's concept of definite purpose acts as a roadmap, turning vague wishes into targeted achievements. Write down a specific goal, break it into actionable steps, and review it daily, just as Hill did for his own successes. This process provides direction and keeps you aligned, preventing the drift that inaction causes. To make it interactive, pause right now and outline one goal. Remember, as Hill said, a goal without a plan is just a wish. Let's bring this to life with a real example from Hill's world. Take Andrew Carnegie, who acted decisively on his steel mill idea despite massive obstacles, building an empire through Hill's principles. Carnegie's story shows how one bold step can lead to extraordinary results, inspiring you to do the same. In wrapping up, remember Hill's core message: motivation follows action, and your secret to success lies in that decisive first move. So don't wait. Choose one action from today and do it now. As Hill declared, the starting point of all achievement is desire, but the finishing point is action.